What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. He's Andrew Destin. I am Noah Hiles, coming to you from sunny Bradenton, Florida. Pirates win another one, 2-0 in Grapefruit League action. They take down the Twins by a final of 5-1. We have our recap here. Andrew, I'm going to let you lead the charge here. You wrote the game story. What were some things you noticed today?
Yeah, I think the first place we got to start with is Mitch Keller, right? And, I'm going to tip my cap to you here, Noah. You were the one who brought it to my attention, brought it to the whole beat's attention, frankly. Mitch Keller's velocity from the outset today, excellent.
Yeah.
He was sitting mid to high nines, got up to 96 miles an hour, I believe it was. 95 he pretty much consistently sat at with the four-seam and the sinker. That was not the case this time last year. Last year the velocity was down. He was answering questions about why it's down. So I thought that was a really notable takeaway as he produced 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, and that's always something you want to see, right? And he talked about how he just worked a little differently in the offseason, more focus on the lower body, adding some strength. And I just also think that's experience. I mean, that's the sign of an experienced pitcher when you notice flaws even in February of 2024. You know that, hey, come February 2025, we're going to make sure those flaws don't exist anymore. That's why you pay the guy what you paid him a year ago today, which is another thing to mention with Mitch Keller, just another step forward in that growth. I mean, we're a year into the extension. I think so far the Pirates got to feel good about that investment.
Yeah, 100%. Not just the body of work that he's put together in the regular season, but what he's meant to the pitching staff as a whole, to the starting rotation. Certainly a great way to start things off. There's a number of other guys we should probably get into on the starting rotation. Yesterday we were talking about Carmen Majinski.
Yep.
I feel like if we're keeping the conversation going about guys getting lengthened out, Caleb Ferguson is probably a good one to talk about next.
Yeah, he pitched the next 2 innings, not clean, he issued a walk, but 2 scoreless innings, no hits allowed, and I'm really intrigued by this guy. I mean, there's a whole bunch of arms that have a lot of sizzle, guys who throw 100, but Ferguson's a little different in the fact that he's in a similar spot to guys who are in a way different part of their career than him. He's an established, at one point in time, leverage arm. At worst, a middle inning reliever type guy who's now working his way back to being a starter, which is kind of a trend throughout baseball. We're seeing more guys who have been established relievers working their way back to being a starter in the back ends of their careers, per se. And he falls into that category. And Andrew, I mean, with the stuff that he has and with that experience, I don't think he can be a guy that could throw 200 innings, but I wouldn't be shocked to see this guy make 5 to 10 starts this year.
It's possible. He's made 14 career MLB starts before, all of those with the Dodgers over a 5-year stretch. So, you do some simple math, that's 3 starts per year pretty much. Why shouldn't he do at least that? Why can't it be 3, 5, 10? Like, there's a number there, I think, somewhere. I'll put it this way. I would be shocked if it's 0. I would be really surprised given the way that they're approaching it with him, the conversations they had with Caleb Ferguson over the offseason that ultimately brought him to Pittsburgh to sign that 1-year, $3 million contract. I have to believe that starting was a part of that wanted him to come to Pittsburgh. They're probably going to give him at least some kind of runway with that. So the starting rotation remains something that, sure, it's going to be a strength, but we're keeping tabs on it because there's all sorts of moving parts there. Yeah,
there's like 10 or 11 guys competing for 5 spots that are already kind of determined.
Yeah.
But still interesting. A guy, we talked about Ferguson being a veteran. We saw the exact opposite of that with Konnor Griffin today, and he looked really good, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, grounded one to the right side of chopper, a ground ball with eyes, as they say. But the thing that stood out the most to me, the speed. I mean, he advanced first to third. He was confident when calling guys off, like Matt Gorski on one fly ball that kind of was in that in-betweener zone. I think it's particularly interesting just to watch how this guy continues to approach spring training.
Right.
And he's already made some tangible tweaks, which we'll have a story out tomorrow at post-gazette.com about Konnor Griffin, some of those changes that he has made to his swing in the preparation of moving from high school baseball to the professional ranks. It's shorter, it's more compact, his hands are closer to his right ear in a trigger position, so they should be, in theory, quicker to get to the ball with his knob. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch how he adjusts, because 18-year-old kids making the transition to the minor leagues, that's a ton. But he didn't look particularly phased with, spring training game number 1.
I'm excited to see this kid grow.
Yeah.
I mean, because how much more can he grow? I mean, he's like 6'4", 230, something along that line. As an 18-year-old, I mean, that's a 5-star linebacker size right there. And with the speed, if they can get the swing right, there's so much upside to this guy. And if you could put on more muscle and just grow, mentally between the ears as well, there's a lot to like about this prospect. I know it's going to be years until we see him at the game's highest level. But the Pirates have reason to be excited about him.
No, 100%. And maybe if there's anything that we learned from today, we're not jumping to too many conclusions, but if there's any takeaway you could have, it's that maybe he's not as far off as we thought.
Right. Maybe it's not 4 or 5 years. Maybe it's 2 or 3. Who knows?
Sure. So it's something we'll have to monitor. Maybe he follows a trajectory that's more similar to a Tamar Johnson or somebody like that who, was a more polished prospect coming out of high school, but by all indications, if we're going off first impressions, it was a pretty darn good one there for Konnor Griffin.
On the note of talented young athletes, Paul Skenes on the bump Monday in Clearwater against the Phillies. Andrew, if we get this one in, rain in the forecast, not sure it's going to happen. What are you looking to see from the Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just how does he look physically? Where is the velocity at? Because he talked to us about it back at, I believe it was Pirates Fest, at the beginning of spring training.
Yeah.
And when they were at Pirate City, about how last year he was in a much different spot because he was trying to make the team. Now he's kind of taking it a little bit slower in terms of building up the velocity and the volume, because the goal is to be able to go, a full 32 starts in a 162 game slate. What does that mean for his stuff? We're going to have to wait and find out till tomorrow.
I'm excited to see the new pitches. I want to see the two-seamer. It's looked really good in live BPs. I want to see it against the Phillies. I hope they have their A-team lineup up out there against them. Yeah. That top 3 for Philly against Paul, that's must-watch TV. I don't even care if it's in February.
Yeah.
So he's Andrew Destin. I'm Noah Hiles. Follow our work at post-gazette.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at PG Pirates. We'll see you tomorrow in Clearwater.